People tend to actually overbuild, overcost, and overcomplicate building warehouses. And here's the truth behind building warehouses. And let me simplify it for you and go over 3 different ways you're going to generate profitability building small office warehouse buildings nationwide. Look, one of the biggest things, most people don't even understand how to underwrite office warehouse, much less profit from it. If you can't underwrite it, you can't profit from it. If you can't underwrite it, you can't get lending on it. If you can't go in, and even if you can build it, even if you're a contractor and you can build it, if you don't know the numbers, you can't build it. Now, on the contrary, if you understand the numbers, you can build it because building's easy. Here's the thing. One of the biggest variables that most people don't realize about office warehouse is it works completely different than multifamily. The way banks look at office warehouse is through a de-risking variable that multifamily doesn't have. And here's how it starts. It starts with a piece of land that you have conceptually, right? So let's say you don't need a large piece of land, but let's say we go in and we have even something as small as 3/4 of an acre. Let's say we have under a 1 acre lot, and we have this 1 acre lot that kind of sits a little bit crooked in a certain area of town, okay? Now, let's say we go in, we build an office warehouse space right here. We have some parking in here. We have a little bit of parking right here. We even have a little semi-bay on this side of the building, okay? Now, we're going to have some garage doors here. We're going to have some garage doors here. We're going to have some garage doors here. We're going to have some garage doors here with a little pedestrian door, pedestrian door, pedestrian door, pedestrian door. Okay? Now, let's say we just simply break this small little piece into 4 units. Okay? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if each unit's 2,000 square feet, that's a total of 8,000 square feet. Okay? Now, nationwide on new office warehouse building, the office portion might be really small. It might only be about 400 square feet. This portion might get $25 a square foot, but the warehouse portion nationwide only gets on average for new construction at about $12 per square foot. So all in, you're going to be someplace right in the neighborhood of about $2,000 per square foot per month per unit. Okay? So now, we go in, we have $2,000 per month. This is the rent rate. So that's 2,468, 8K times 12. Okay, so we take $8,000 times 12 is $96,000. Okay, so we have $96,000 per year for the average rents nationwide. Now, here's what I love about office warehouse. Okay, so watch, listen up, because while I'm going through these numbers, you have to understand that the perspective of underwriting your lending is going to be a reality of what you're going to need to be able to take this down. And so if you don't understand the lending, you're not going to be able to take this down. So let's underwrite the financials first. Let's see what this thing, the potential of this warehouse really is. We might have to go in and make them slightly bigger. We might have to go out after a different demographical tenant than what's needed in this area. Now, understand, when you're going out, you're doing office warehouse, one of the things I love about any commercial asset is that they have commercial brokers that specialize in that specific industry. So just like multifamily, when you go in and there's a multifamily broker with CBRE, Colas, or Cushman and Wakefield, or Marcus and Millichap, or any of the big brokers, there's an industrial broker that works within that office in the same magnitude. They're like doctors that specialize. It's like a cardiac doctor doesn't do pulmonary surgery. A pulmonary doctor doesn't do oral surgery. An oral surgeon doesn't go in and do cranial surgery, right? They all specialize. Every one of them specializes. And in the commercial real estate sector, it's the exact same thing. If you have a retail broker, they go in and they specialize in retail. If you have an office broker, they specialize in office. If you have a warehouse broker, they specialize in industrial warehouse space. If you have a multifamily broker, you even have sometimes a Class A and a Class C broker. So you go in, these guys specialize. Now, when we go in, we're going to get with a broker to go out and market this product. We're going to put a conceptual drawing together, and here's how this works financially to understand, is it viable and can I make 6 figures actually building this out? Because if you can't make 6 figures, don't do it. It's not worth your time. You have to put yourself in a position to minimize your risk, increase your profitability, and go out and profit. And here's how. Now, when we go in, I love warehouse space because the tenant pays for everything. Now, when you get into warehouse, there's going to be what's called triple net fees. This covers your property insurance. This also covers your property taxes, and it covers your maintenance, okay? Your expenses. Those are all your expenses. Now, let's say your insurance is $10K a year, okay? That's about what it's going to be. Let's say your property tax is about $10K a year. That's what it's going to be. And let's also say that your maintenance on this property is $10K a year, okay? Well, you have 4 tenants here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's $30,000 per year. Let's say that your maintenance is $12,000. Okay. Let's make this interesting instead of making the whole numbers. Let's make this at $12,000. Okay. That's $32,000. Okay. Now we go in, we have $32,000. We're going to go in, we're going to divide this by 4. Okay. So we go in, we divide this by 4. Each tenant's going to take equal portions, because if this is 2,000 square feet, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, you're going to take the percentage of occupancy that they take and give that responsibility back to them. So if there's 4 units, they're taking and absorbing 100% of your insurance, your property taxes, and all your maintenance and cost expenses annually. They're going to divide it out by 4. When you do that, there's going to be about $666 per month per tenant. So now we go in and we know we have $666 per month, $666 per month. Okay, that's going to be added to this $2,000. So we're going to have $2,000 per tenant, $666 for your. These are going to be for your triple net fees. Okay, then we're going to go in and we have what's called common area fees. Okay, the fees just keep on going, baby. Now we have another fee that the tenants pay for you. It's called CAM fees. Okay, so we take our CAM fees. And the CAM fees are going to cover stuff that's a common area, like water. Water, shouldn't pay for water. Your tenants are using the water. So why would you pay for water for commercial use? Let's say someone has a laundromat in there. You're just going to go in and pay hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars a month in water. Well, they just run their washing machines and they just do this. What if someone has a car wash in there? Or what if someone has a dry cleaners? So you're going to go in and you're going to make them pay for the actual water on that property. You're going to make them pay for the landscape cleanup. It's their property. It's their tenants. The parking lot. There's going to be broken parking blocks. They're going to break curbs. They're going to damage asphalt because it's their clients that are damaging that. It's not yours, it's theirs. So now we go in, we charge them CAM fees. Now let's say that the water costs us $1,800 per year for water. Okay. Let's say that the landscaping costs us $8,400 per year for the landscape cleanup. Okay, parking lots blowing, all of that. Let's say that the parking lot to maintain it is going to cost us $1,500 a year. Not much, just a little bit. You don't have to replace it every year. Okay, so that's going to cost us $11,700 in expenses. We're going to divide this by 4, and that's going to add about $243 per month for your tenant. So we're going to take $243. We're going to add this up. Okay, so now our lease rate is going to be $26.66. plus $243, that's going to be $29.09 per month for this business, occupy this space right here, okay? Times 4. Now, we're going to do this times 4, so 4 times, okay? And then we're going to multiply that times 12, okay? So we're going to take $29.09 times 4 times 12. That's going to give us a total gross income potential equivalent to $139,700, okay? So let's take this over. So we got a gross income potential equivalent to $139,700, okay? Now, let's say that property is 90% leased, meaning you're gonna have some vacancies, some months that are vacant on that property, okay? Now, when we go in and we do this, ladies and gentlemen, we know that 70% of that property needs to be occupied before we can actually get a loan on this property. So we're going to put a beautiful conceptual drawing up, and our industrial broker is going to go to work for us before we even start. And he's going to work for us for free because he doesn't make a commission until he pre-leases these properties. And until that lease and that money comes in, he makes no commissions. And so he's incentivized to work. He wants that commission. He wants those properties leased. Allow him the opportunity to go in and get these leases retained for you while you're working through entitlements. And you're going out, you're working through permits, you work through architecture, through engineering, and all you're building, ladies and gentlemen, all you're building is you're just building a shell. That's all you're building. You're just building this shell right here. And what's cool about this is that your tenants, this shell is going to cost you about $120 per square foot to build. Your tenants are paying for everything else. The electrical, the mechanical, the plumbing, they're paying for everything. You don't know where they need bathrooms. You don't know if they need extra water. You don't know what type of electrical they want. You don't know what type of heating and cooling they're going to need. What if it's a data center and they need exponential cooling to be able to cool all of the computers and the hard drives that takes to be able to go in and run a data center? What if it's a car wash or a car detailing place and they're using water in the back? Or what if it's a pet grooming place? Like, you don't know what it's going to need is what I'm after. And so the tenant is going to do what's called tenant improvements, and the TIs are going to be paid for by the actual tenant. And so when you go out and you build it out for the 70% of the tenants that are going to be in that property, they go in and their lease is tied to your mortgage. That mortgage is tied to their tenant improvement. That tenant improvement also covers their build out, but it's the responsibility of that business to be able to go in and retain that financing alongside with you to go out and build out the interior of that property, not being your expense, being theirs. All you're building is a simple shell.
If you want to learn the exact strategy of how to buy the right piece of land in the right area to build a house, if you want to learn the exact strategy that I've been utilizing for almost 3 decades, then text me the word land at 505-560-0520. Let's go ground up, let's buy land, let's build houses, and let's start right now.
Okay, now, when we go in, let's say that our gross operating income based on a 90% occupancy is equivalent to $125,730. Now, all of our expenses have already been paid by our tenants, but let's say that it still costs us 10%. It's not going to, it's going to cost you like 5%, but let's say it costs you 10%. Now, if it costs you 10%, your net operating income, if you take all of your expenses out of there, that 10% is going to be $113,157 per year, okay? Now, so we're going to take this NOI. Remember the formula. Value equals net operating income divided by its cap rate, okay? The cap rate is the rate of return that you're going to make on that asset, provided you pay cash for that asset. It's the equivalence of what you get in return in the stock market if you invest money in the stock market in any big blue chip stock like Intel, Johnson & Johnson, Boeing, or any big company, Walmart, whatever it is. The annualized rate of return is your cap rate. So let's say that we're making an annualized rate of return that has to cover our debt service. So our debt service, let's say, is someplace in that neighborhood of about 6%. Right now, the average cap rate nationwide that these products are selling at is 6%. So if the stabilized national average is 6%, that's what we're going to utilize as the cap rate. We're going to plug and play. We're going to take that 113,157 on our NOI. We're going to divide that by a 6% national average on our cap rate. We're going to have a value of this asset at $1,885,950 is going to be our value of our asset based on this NOI right here. Okay, so we have almost a $2 million valuation on this asset. The question is, can I make any money building it? Now, if we have 8,000 square feet, remember we have 8,000 square feet right here, and let's say it costs us $120 a square foot to build. So if we go in, and let's say it's just simple tilt up, it's block, it's CMU, let's say it's just steel stud framed, or you can even frame these things out of wood. You know, whatever your lowest cost is, that's what you're gonna do. Some garage doors, a concrete foundation, some dirt work, you're gonna do some exterior lighting, some parking lot lighting, you're gonna have some and gutters around here. You're gonna be about $120 a square foot. Now, we go in at $120 a square foot, our cost to build is $960,000. Okay, so we go in, we have $960,000. It's our cost to build. Now, let's say we overpay for the land. Let's say this little less than 1 acre lot costs us $300,000. It's a lot of money for that land. Okay, it's industrial land. Industrial land is very few and far from, so sometimes it can be at a premium, but a lot of times it's not. But let's say we overpay for the land. Now, we're all in at $1,260,000. So now, we go in, we're all in, our total cost, this is the land cost, total cost, $1,260,000, okay? That's our total cost, okay? That leaves us with a net equity of $626,000 net equity. Ladies and gentlemen, your net equity, you sell that bad boy, you're making $625,000. Full cycle, that whole project is gonna take you about 14 months. It's about a 14-month project. 14 months, ladies and gentlemen, 626. Here's what else is cool. You're gonna go in, you have these leases secured. Now, you have debt on the property, so if you go in, you have debt on the property, let's say that we go in and we just stabilize this at a 6.5% interest rate. Okay, so let's say our debt service is a 6.5% interest rate. Well, we're gonna have a 6.5% on this number right here because this is our cost, right? So if we stay in it, so it's 6% interest on the $1,260,000, that's gonna be about $81,900. So you have $81,900 gonna be your cost for debt. This is your debt right here, okay? Now, We know that we have a 6% interest rate on $1.26 million. We know that our debt service is to be at 6.5% is going to be $81,900 per year. Now, we take that $81,900 per year and we subtract that out. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have someplace in the neighborhood of between $35,000 and $45,000 in net revenue that cash flows, and the tenants are paying for the property for you and all expenses. That's your take home after all is paid. In addition to that, they're buying the warehouse for you. I remember I had a warehouse that I bought. Frito-Lay landed up leasing from me. I made no money for 10 years. Here's how it rolled down. I went in, I did a triple net lease. I married the purchase of the building with the lease. When I married the purchase of the property with the lease, I did a 10-year lease with 2 10-year options. So ultimately, it was a 30-year lease. Now, in each option, I have the opportunity to be able to ante up the rents to current rent rates. Now, over the course of the 10 years, what I did is I took the rent and I took the mortgage and I made sure that the rents were going to be able to pay the mortgage. I didn't even care about cash flow. What I cared about is a free and clear paid for building that I didn't have a dollar out of my own pocket to pay for. So I landed up going in with Frito-Lay. Frito-Lay leased the building. I could have probably got a little bit more money for it, but I didn't know exactly how this was all going to roll out because it was the first time I had ever done this. So it's been about 18 years now. Now, we went in, we got their tenant improvements. They paid for all their tenant improvements. I went in and their deposits paid for my down payment on the property. Their down payments and their deposits to be able to do their tenant improvements and the down payment for their lease allowed me to go in and collateralize that against the loan. I didn't have no money out of pocket for the loan, except for the initial money I put in escrow to take down the property. We went in, we did a 10-year lease on the first run. I had a 10-year note with the bank. That 10-year note got paid off with their 10-year lease. They bought the building for me over the course of time because all I was mortgaging was not the tenant improvements, but the shell itself. After 10 years, the property was free and clear. I barely made enough money at the end of it all to be able to have $100, $200 a month in the bank account. But in 10 years, I didn't pay property taxes. I didn't pay insurance. I didn't pay maintenance. I paid nothing. They paid for everything for me, including the building for 10 years. All I had to do was construct the paperwork and manage the paperwork, the taxes, and the tax returns for 10 years. 10 years later, building's completely paid off. They renewed for an additional 10 years. They exercised their first option. They're 7 to 8 years into their second option right now. And now that thing just cash flows free and clear every single month. So the goal was to get the building paid off free and clear. And now we make close to $15,000 a month, every single month. After all insurance, property taxes, and everything are paid on one lease from Frito-Lay with a free and clear building, and we own the asset free and clear, and they'll end up renewing for another 10 years in 2 to 3 years from now, and the building's already paid for free and clear, and that thing just continues to print cash every month, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And that's how you go out and compound your success in industrial warehouse. For more content in commercial real estate, multifamily, and single family ground up builds, to learn how to compound your money, your profits, and your future, click and subscribe to my YouTube channel, pound that thumbs up button, give me some love, and continue to go out there and compound your success.